One set, 5 characters, juicy murder in Act 1, unexpected developments in Act 2. Sound construction, good dialogue, laughs in all the right places. It's highly commercial.
Why, that's wonderful, darling. I'm so happy for you, for both of us.
Happy? Why on earth happy?
Well, it's yours, isn't it? The idea you had in August.
The idea I had in August went the same way as the idea I had in July, which went the same way as the idea I had whatever it was before that. Into the snow, up the chimney, and out over Fairfield County. Pollution in its most grisly form. This is the property of one Mr. Clifford Anderson that arrived in the mail this morning. He was one of the twerps in my seminar last summer. Here's the letter. Listen to this. Dear Mr. Rule, I hope you don't mind my sending you my play Death Trap, which I just finished retyping at 2 o'clock this morning. But since I couldn't have printed it without the inspiration of your own work and the guidance and encouragement you gave me last summer, I thought it only fitting that you should be the first one to read it. And if you find it 1/10 as good as any of your words, I will feel that my time is well spent. And the fee for the seminar more than adequately recompensed.
That's nice.
No, it isn't. It's fulsome. Please excuse the carbon copy, but the local Xerox machine is out of bricks, and I couldn't stand the thought of waiting a few more days to send off my firstborn child to its spiritual father. My italics is a menace. So, please call and write as soon as you have read it, and let me know whether you think it is worth submitting, etc., 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 etc. Some of a bitch even types well. You know, I think I remember there was an enormously obese glandular condition of 400 pounds. Where do I get my address?
Probably from the university.
Yes, probably.
Is it really that good? His first play?
Can't miss. A gifted director couldn't even heard it. Yes, stock and amateur rights alone will feed and clothe the generation of Andersons. But it could be easily turned into a movie. George C. Scott, Liv Alden.
Oh, and Trish Vanderveer.
Yes, it's hard for her to do the damn thing perfect.
Well, I should think you'd be proud that one of your students has written a saleable play.
For the first time in 11 years of marriage, darling, drop dead.
My goodness.
I mean, I have to grieve with envy. I would like to bash the wretch over the head with that mace up there, buried in a 400-pound hole somewhere, and send the thing off under my own name to a David Merrick or Hal Prince. Now, there's the best idea I've had.
My poor Sidney.
Well, I mean, what is the point of owning a mace unless you use it once in a while?
Oh, you'll get an idea of your own any day now, and it'll turn into a better play than that one.
Well, I wouldn't bet on it. Not that you have any money left to bet with.
We're doing very nicely in that department. Not one creditor beating at the door.
Yes, but for how long? I've just about cleaned you out, haven't I?
We've cleaned me out, and it's been joy and delight every bit of the way. Your next play will simply have to be a terrific smash.
Thanks. Just what I needed. And easing of the pressure.
Well, why don't you call it generic citation? Maybe you could get a commission of some kind.
A finder's fee, you mean?
Yes, if that's what it's called.
Oh, a great and glorious 1%, maybe 1.5.
Okay, Max, why don't you use it yourself? You can be out in enough production, and it might be a beneficial change of pace.
Darling, I may be devious and underhanded enough to become a successful murderer. But I think not a Broadway producer. One mustn't overestimate one's talents.
Now, Nathan, isn't there room for improvement in the play, good as it is? But a professional touch, a little reshaping, sharpening.
Yes, that's a possibility.
I'm sure he'd be thrilled at the chance to work with you.
Yes, we could split 50-50.
And you get top billing.
Well, naturally, reverse alphabetical order, dear boy. It's done all the time.
On the basis of who you are.
Yes, Sidney Forklops Brule.
Sidney, author of the Murder Game.
Ah, yes, the murder game. I remember that one. Back in the time of King Arthur, wasn't it?
Not quite that long ago.
18 years, my love. 18 years. Each one flying by faster than the one before. Nothing recedes like success. Oh, it's a good one. Work that in somewhere. Yes, there's this has-been actor who can say it. Now, let's see. Recedes is right?
Right. You see who would improve it.
Yes, that individual Sidney Brule flavor flows in Boston.
Call him now, wherever he is.
Up in Milford. You don't like the mace?
Oh, no, definitely not. Blood on the carpet.
Oh.
And the next day, Helga Tendorf would be picking up the psychic vibrations.
In Holland, I doubt it very much. really. I thought he was finally coming out of the closet.
You see what a flying murderer you'd be. Elsie Kendall practically moved in on your doorstep, and you managed not to hear about it.
Yes, well, it does give one pause.
Well, it certainly should. Nan and Tom Weston had it for dinner last week, and she told Tom about his backaches and about the money he put into silver and about father's think for tall women.
Oh.
She warned Nan that their O'Hare girl was going to leave. And she did 2 days later, and she found a set of keys that Nan lost in 1969. They were under the clothes dryer.
She's in the Bain cottage, you say?
Right over yonder, picking up our blips on her radar this minute, most likely.
Well, then it would seem that Mr. Anderson has a collaborator. Not that I really believe that he has a key, of course.
Well, the police in Europe think too. That's half of why she's here. She's supposed to be resting from pointing at murderers.
Wait a minute. Agman didn't stay the whole week. His name was Quinn or Quincy. Anderson. Oh, I wonder if he was one with the awful stammer.
Easy way to find out.
Yes. This could be a 3-hour conversation. Busy, probably talking to Merrick. What's for dinner?
Salmon?
Again?
Yes. Sydney, would you actually kill someone to have another successful play?
Don't be foolish, darling. Of course I would. You're going to guess, Miss Denmore.
It's Mrs. She's divorced.
Not surprised if you stay married to a woman with ESP. You don't think, Steve, that basilisk stare was a basilisk. Wouldn't you like to go inside again, securing the knowledge we're not going to be seen in the kitchen? You know what this play and its author in today's market? $2 million. That is not counting the death trap t-shirts. Now, if that is not a reasonable motive for murder, I don't know what is. Wish you hadn't told me about her. Ah, that's better. Hello, this is Clifford Anderson. Sidney Broad here. Not the stammerer.
Oh?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I just finished reading it about 15 minutes ago, and I must say, in all sincerity, you have a very promising first draft there. Yes, I was just telling my wife, Myra, that if you give it a reshape it needs, point it up in the right places, or get a few laughs, it'll be right up with salute. The murder game, Dial M, it has the makings, as we say. Oh, yes, I should think you would. Now, I thought that the murder game was finished the first time around, and then someone with far more experience in the theater than I took it over with me, and we revised it and improved it tremendously. I don't mind admitting it. You say? Well, it was Douglas Kaufman. Yes, no. He didn't take anything credit. I was urged to. But you see, he was deeply in debt at the time, and he didn't want to know that he had a share of oil. No, listen, I could be wrong about this whole thing. Now, what sort of reaction do you have from other people? No one at all. Well, yes, that's very flattering, but surely someone must have read it. Your friends, your wife, some of the people from the seminar? Oh, yes. I see. Sounds ideal. Complete isolation. All you have to do is check the thermostat and water the plants. Yes, but I'm surprised that you haven't written more than one play since July. I would have knocked off, 3 or 4 by now. Oh, yes, as a matter of fact, I am. It's a marvelous thriller. Yes. Oh, well, it's about, it's based on this woman with ESP. Yes, it's based on Helen Tendor, the Dutch psychic. She's a neighbor of ours, you know. Yeah, the title. Yes, well, it's called The Frowning What? Oh, no, that's just a working title. I'm going to have to come up with something exactly for that, yes. Incidentally, I love Death Trap. The title as well as the play. The enormously promising first draft, I should say, yes. Yes, well, as a matter of fact, I do. Far too many to give you over the phone. Perhaps we could get together sometime and go over the manuscript scene by scene. I'm free this evening, as a matter of fact. Why don't you drive down? It's not very far. Oh, I see. Well, listen, why don't you take the train down then? It would be better that way anyway. I could pick you up at the Westport station and run you over here. We're way out in the country. Yes, typist. Well, we have to send a flare every time we're expecting people. Yes, why don't you do that? I'll hold out. His car is in repairs. He's house sitting for a couple in Europe, and he's unmarried.
Do you think he'll be open to the idea of collaborating?
Yes, possibly. Was George S. Kaufman still alive when I wrote The Murder Game? Hello. Yeah. No, that's a bit too early. No, that's too late. Listen, why don't we make the 7:29? Yes. Then there's 11 something out of New York. I'm sure it stops at Milford. You'll have no problem getting home again. Yes. Oh, yes, and could you bring your review with you? Well, the carpet is a bit hard on these weary old eyes. Good. See you at 7:29 then. Oh, Terrence, you don't mind my calling you Terrence, do you? Why not? Oh, my God, Clifford. Yes, Clifford. Well, listen, Clifford, I may be a little bit late, so you just hang there by the station. I have some errands to run, and I'll be along eventually. Yes. Navy Blue Mercedes. Right. Good. Goodbye. I think he's the one without any defects.
What errands do you have to run?
Okay. Didn't you say something about the library, picking up some books or dropping them off?
No, I didn't.
The Xerox machine has been fixed, but he thought he'd wait a few more days in case I had any small suggestions to make. No one else has read it. No one even knows that he's been working.
And no one will see you picking him up.
The thought did cross my mind. I'm sort of habit of finding crimes on paper.
Why did you tell him to bring the original copy?
Well, you heard me. The copy, Mrs. Strand. We should have 2 copies to go through. I don't want him leaning over my shoulder for 2 hours exhaling cheeseburger.
He probably has another copy filed away.
Yes, more than likely. Yes, notes, early drafts. I can see it all. Opening night, my dazzling triumph with his gray-haired mother comes down the aisle, accompanied by the Milford and the Westport Police Department. Hello? Oh, Roddy, how are you? Oh, no, I don't think so. Not tonight. I have an idea I'm working on. I don't want to lose touch with it. Yes, it's in the embryo stage. Oh, wait a minute. Myra might want to. Hang on. They're going to see that French thing at the Fine Arts, too. I could drop you off on my way.
No, I want to see it. Not tonight.
Hello, Bonnie. Listen, Myra will take a pass, too. Yes, she's a bit under the weather. Right. Listen, why don't you give us a report on it tomorrow? All right. Listen, have fun. Yeah. Goodbye. You don't have to stand guard over me. I only kill when the moon is full.
Why did you lie just now? Why did you tell us someone was coming to see you?
Well, is it their business? I don't know why I lied. I guess I'm just a liar.
The moon was full last night, except for a sliver down near the bottom.
Really? Then I will have to exercise massive self-control and remind myself of that other carbon copy which most certainly exists.
If not for that, Sidney, would you? Could you?
Probably not. Probably I would chicken out. I mean, even if he is the tiny one. But you know, they say that committing murder on paper siphons off all your hostile impulses. I'm sure it does. At the same time, it opens one to the idea of committing real murder. It gives it that familiar feeling of a possibility worth considering. Just as owning a weapon opens one to the idea, so slightly, of using it. However, there is a world difference between a paper victim and a real one. So I'm sure that Mr. Anderson will go home in the same state of health in which he arrived. Manuscript clutched in his tiny, huge, or relatively normal hand.
Oh, he will jump at the chance to collaborate with you, and then afterwards you'll do a play that's all your own.
No, I'm sure I shall.
Maybe you could do something based on Helvig Senior. Oh, but not all of your own wife.
No, this smiling one. An old cheerful kind of thriller. No. Just think about that. Now, let's say there's this playwright who is going through a temporary dry period, and he sent this newly hatched play by one of the clerks in his seminar. Possible opening, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
Of course, the play would have to be highly commercial, and, well, the playwright would have to have a look for weapon.
Well, Put it in your notebook.
I will. It's a pity he has the title. Death Trap. Actually, it was built in 1794, but the hardware was started out at 9, so I backdated it 10 years.
Well, it's a beautiful house.
Yeah, Historical Society had a kitten.
Hello.
Oh, Miss Daniston, this is my wife, Myra.
Hello, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Come in. I was beginning to worry.
Is this the room you work in?
Yes, how did you guess?
Oh, the typewriter and all these posters. Is that the mace that was used in murderer's file?
Yes, and the dagger is from Blind Justice. Careful, it's sharp. The trick one was substituted in Act 2.
In for the kill.
Yes.
You know, I can't understand why that plate didn't run.
Well, like critics peeing on it could be the answer.
The drink must have been late, was it?
Oh, no, Mr. Brill was. The train was on time.
Well, I had to get gas, and Frank insisted upon fondling his spark plug.
Do you know that Gunpoint was the first play I ever saw? I had a night in New York, and I came in on the train one Saturday by myself. Another first from Hartford. She took me to the matinee. I was just 12 years old.
Well, if you're trying to compress me, you've made it.
Oh, I'm sorry, but that's how I get hooked on thrillers.
Angel Street did it for me. Where is that grocery list, Bella? What have you done with it, you poor wretched creature? I was 15.
Oh, it sounds like a disease being passed from generation to generation.
Ah, it is a disease. Thrilleritis malignus, the fevered pursuit of the one set 5 character moneymaker.
Oh, I'm not pursuing money. Not that I wouldn't like to have some, so I could have a place like this working, but that's not the reason I wrote that.
Yes, well, you're still an early case.
Well, it's not a disease. It's a tradition. A superbly challenging theatrical framework in which every possible variation seems to end in play. Can I conjure up a few new ones? Can I startle an audience that's been on Angel Street, that's dialed them for murder, that's witnessed the prosecution, that's played the murder?
No, please, speech. Thank you for saving me for last.
I was coming to salute.
I'm glad I stopped.
Well, so am I. I'm a little euphoric about all that's happening.
As well you should be.
Would you like something to drink?
Yes, please. Do you have some ginger ale?
Oh, yes. A Sydney Scotch.
Oh, no, dear, I think I'll have ginger ale, too.
Those aren't all from your plays, are they?
Oh, God, no, I haven't written that many, but, well, people give me things now and then, and of course I follow the antique shops.
Oh, now there's the disease.
Yes, and a super excuse for not working. I picked this up in Ridgefield the other day. Authentic American Revolutionary.
It's beautiful.
Yes, isn't it? Oh, yes, and there's for my spiritual child. You can see I'm taking very good care of it.
Well, I've got the original.
Oh, thank God. I probably should be wearing glasses, but my doctor says the longer I can go without them, the better off I'll be. Here you are. Oh, no, there you are.
It's not the binder for the Xeroxing.
Hey, no, never mind.
I've got the first draft here, too. There's a scene between Guy and Carlo in Act 1 I may have been wrong to cut. And the dying Richard scene starts earlier, before they know Carlo's back.
I see. Did you do several drafts?
Oh, just the one. It's a mess, and I'm sure you'll be able to decipher it if you'd like to see those two scenes.
Oh, I would, by all means. You know, I had the idea there was a Diane and Carlo scene that I was missing before the murder.
Yes, I was afraid the act would run too long.
What else have you got?
Well, I've got the outline, which I departed from. I made it the way you suggested, a page per scene, and loosely. And I've got some lines I jotted down in here and never got to use.
Threw away the ones you did use as you used them.
Yes.
Oh, same way I work.
Well, everything was in one envelope, so I just had it. Oh, thank you.
Oh, thank you, dear.
It's a 2-hour walk to the station, so I had to leave right after we talked.
2 hours.
I walked a lot longer than that. I know the bed was not going to get flat. I work out with weights every morning. I came this close to making the Olympic decathlon team.
Really?
This close.
Well, I'll be careful not to argue with you. I was on the Olympic sloth team myself. Gold medal. You can fall asleep in any position. The death trap.
Death trap.
Death trap. It'll be toasted with more than ginger ale someday. Sidney's right about it, and I'm sure he is.
Well, I hope so, because I toasted with beer the other night.
Oh, well, we have some. Would you rather?
Oh, no, this is fine, thanks.
Are you planning to stay here, dear?
Yes.
Do you think I overdid it with this set description? All the exact locations for each piece of furniture?
Set description? Oh, I don't remember anything wrong with it. Let me see. No, perfect. Couldn't be better. You certainly typed beautifully. Electric?
No, I can't see electric typewriters. If there's a power failure, you can't work.
That's the whole point of owning one. No, not really. The main problem I find with it, at least with Zenobia here, is that you can only get one decent card. The second one is always so muddy as to be almost illegible. You don't have that problem with your...
Sidney has some wonderful ideas for improving your play, Mr. Anderson.
Well, I'm sure he does. I'm looking forward to hearing it.
Couldn't you do that in the living room, dear?
Well, there's no good work light in there.
I seem to recall a paisley chair with a light next to it brightened up with the engraving of Bibles on pinhead.
Well, that's too bright, and the chair's too low. I'll be quiet.
Darling, this is Mr. Anderson's first play, and I prefer to want to read it. And I'm sure that he would prefer that our discussions be private, wouldn't you, Clifford? You don't have to be embarrassed to say so.
No, I don't mind Mrs. Brule being here. In fact, I like it. It makes me feel a little less as if I've been summoned to the principal's office.
Well, I'm sorry if I awed you.
Well, you do all those plays you've written and the things you've said. I never thought of calling my typewriter anything but Smith Corona.
Well, as long as it answers.
Well, you're welcome to play to Mrs. Brule if you like.
Oh, yes, I would.
Well, I'm kind of curious to know how women are going to react to Diane's decision about the gun.
Well, Sidney told me a little about it at dinner, but he stopped at all the surprises. I don't even know who kills who.
Well, good, you shouldn't. That was the trouble with Murderer's Child, if you'll forgive me for saying so. Well, it was obvious from the opening curtain that Dr. Mannheim was going to bash poor Betty. You didn't leave any room for doubt. I mean, the audience should suspect, yes, but well, they shouldn't be absolutely certain, should they? Doesn't that tend to diminish the suspense?
You may have a point there. I wish you had told me on the phone that you wanted Myra to read the play. You could have brought along another copy. She could be reading it now while we're having our little talk.
I didn't know she'd be interested. Anyway, I don't have it.
You don't have another copy?
Well, I only made one. I thought I'd be Xeroxing the original as soon as I was through.
Yes, well, there's no need for 3 or 4 anymore, not in the age of Xerox.
Well, she could read this one, and we could pass the pages back and forth. Or I could sit next to you.
No. I want to think. Let me think for a moment.
Mr. Anderson, Sidney is just bursting with creative ideas about your play. Well, I've never seen him so enthusiastic. He gets plays very often in the mail. Finished plays that are ready for production, supposedly. From his agent, from producers, from aspiring playwrights, and he usually just laughs and sneers and says the most disparaging things you could possibly imagine. I know he could improve your play tremendously. He could turn it into a hit that would run for years and years and make more than enough money for everyone concerned.
Is that what you meant by I'll be quiet?
I won't be quiet. I'm going to say something that's been on my mind ever since your phone conversation. It's very wrong of you to expect Sidney to give you the fruit of his years of experience, his hard-won knowledge, without any quid pro quo, as if the seminar was still in session.
Well, he offered to give you...
And it's very wrong of you to have offered to give it to him. I am the one in this household whose feet are on the ground and whose eye is on the checkbook. I'm going to make a suggestion to you, Sidney. It's going to come as a shock to you, but I want you to give it your grave and careful and earnest consideration. Will you do that for me? Will you promise to do that for me?
Yes, of course.
Put aside the play you're working on. Yes. Put aside the play about Helga Pendorf and how she finds murderers and keys in clothes dryers. Put it aside, Sidney, and help Mr. Anderson with his play. Collaborate with him. That's what I'm suggesting. That's what I think is the fair and sensible and rational thing to do in this situation. That's right. By Clifford Anderson and Sidney Brule. Unless Mr. Anderson feels in deference to your age and reputation, it should be the other way around.
Well, now that is a shock. Give up my work on The Drowning Wife.
I thought it was frowning.
Drowning? No, what sort of a title would that be? From this point forward, it's The Drowning Wife. It's, it has women's lib overtones along with the ESP. It's such a timely play.
It will keep, Sidney. People are always interested in psychics who can point a finger at someone and say, this man murdered that man. Put it aside, please. Do for Mr. Anderson what George S. Kaufman did for you.
Yes, well, that is awfully persuasive, Myra. How does it grab you?
Oh, wow. I suddenly feel as if I'm on the spot.
You are on the spot. Myra has put you there. She's put us both there.
Well, I guess it should be brought up now before anything was done.
Yes, you're right. You're quite right. What's your reaction, Clifford?
Well, first of all, I'm overwhelmed. I'm really honored and staggered that Sidney Brule would even consider the idea setting aside from his place to help me with mine. I mean, there I was, sitting in that theater when I was 12 years old. And who would think that someday I'd be saying,
Yes, we get the gist of this passage.
This is golden hour. I'm sure I should seize with both hands.
You should, yes.
But the thing is, it's as if I went to a doctor, one of the world's leading specialists, and he recommended surgery. Well, even with my respect for his evidence and his experience, I would still want to get a second opinion, wouldn't I? I'm sure your ideas are terrific. But you're right, Mrs. Rule. It just wouldn't be fair for you to hear them out without some sort of understanding or arrangement. And to be perfectly honest, right now, without having heard them, I feel that Death Trap is very good as it is. It's not perfect, certainly. I guess it could still use a little fine-tuning, but I'm not sure it needs surgery. What I ought to do, I think, is Xerox a few copies tomorrow morning and send them off to some of those agents you're recommending to us. And if they say, too, that it needs major rewriting, then I'll be back here begging you to do what Mrs. Brule suggested. And I'll be willing to make whatever arrangement you think is right. The same when you had with Mr. Kaufman, I guess. I hope I haven't offended you.
Oh, no, not at all.
Mr. Anderson, agents know about contracts. They don't know anything.
Don't, Mother. Don't beg him. He'll think he has the wealth of the Indies here, and that you and I are Mr. and Mrs. Jean Lafitte.
I never think anything like that, Mr. Brule. I'm grateful that you're willing to go out of your way to help me.
Well, I'm not, really. Having a few moments to consider the situation, I would never give up work on the play as timely and inventive as The Drowning Wife to wet nurse work on one as speculative as Death Trap. Sit down, Myra. You're making me nervous standing there hyperventilating. So do as you say, show it to the agents, then if you think it needs major rewrite, let me know and we'll do something. However, I may hit a snag, but I doubt it very much because I have the whole thing outlined. I'm over half done with it. I have another play in the works ready to go now. It's based on the life of Harry Houdini. Oh, yes. Magic is very in. Look at the success of the magic. I've never set his handcuffs over there.
Sydney.
Relax, darling. Clifford isn't the type of person who would steal someone else's idea. You wouldn't do that, would you?
Well, of course not.
You see no cause for alarm. His heart is as far from fraud as heaven from earth. Remarkable man, indeed. Manufactured all of his own magical apparatus. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
It's marvelous craftsmanship. Take a look.
Please.
Sit down.
Don't I think? For God's sake, think.
He's an honest young man, so why don't you sit down and stop being so all-fired suspicious of everyone who comes walking through that door? We had an unfortunate experience a few years back with a plagiaristic playwright, whose name I shall not mention since he's gone to meet his maker, recalled for repairs. Have a good look at those. They're quite remarkable.
They look so real.
Yes, and solid and apparently escape-proof.
Well, they certainly seem that way.
Yes, be my guest.
You mean put these on?
Yes, that's what I mean. When you're sitting there holding my prize pair of $1,200 Houdini handcuffs, and I say, be my guest, put them on.
$1,200? Wow.
Yes. Now, the trick of getting out of them as you turn press forward. No. It's got to be all one smooth motion. Try it again. No. Turn press forward.
They're just not opening.
Well, they did for me yesterday. It's not a matter of them being oiled.
I guess I'm just not Houdini.
Yes, now, it's no problem. I have a key over here somewhere. I mean, well, don't go fussing with it. You're going to ruin it.
Sorry.
Little key. Where are you? Key, the press key.
Do you know this could make a good thriller? It could, I mean it.
How so?
Well, a young playwright sends his first play to an older playwright, who conducted a seminar the young playwright attended. Nobody else has read it. And then he comes to visit the older playwright to get some ideas for rewrites. And he brings along the original, all the notes, the outline, everything. Of course, you have to have the Xerox straightened out to explain why there's only 2 copies. And the play would have to be a very good one. One the young playwright wrote, and the older playwright would have to have nothing much going for him.
That's an enormous concatenation of unlikely circumstances, don't you think?
Well, yes, maybe, but we've almost got it here, haven't we? The only difference is you've got The Drowning Wife, the Houdini play, Death Trap probably isn't worth killing for. I'll bet no one saw me getting in your car.
There you are. You licked the second play problem.
Well, I think it could be turned into something fairly interesting. What do you think, Mrs. Brule?
Oh, I don't like it. It frightens me.
I wonder if I could let the key up here somewhere.
I almost forgot to mention. I should be getting a phone call any minute now. about what it is now, isn't it? And I couldn't reach her before I left, so I left a note on the hall mirror telling her where I am and giving the number. So she could call and find out what train I'll be taking back. So she could pick me up at the station. 1 2-hour walk a day was just about enough for me. So I hope you find the key soon, or else you're going to have to hold the phone for me.
How is she going to get in to read the notes?
She has a key.
You're not a very conscientious house.
She's honest.
You told me in the car that you didn't know anyone in Milford except a few tradespeople.
She's from Hartford. Her name is Marietta Klanowski. She teaches at Kirk Middle School. What is that?
Where did she get the number? It's not this.
Well, they gave it to me at the university along with your address. I'm friendly with Mrs. Beecham there.
Beecham?
The short, red-haired lady, the eye shape.
Well, what number did she give you? I mean, we had it changed recently, and I've seen Cora had been boring us, and I didn't notify the old you of calm. What number did you leave for Miss Klanowski?
I don't remember.
Was it 226-3049 or 226-5457?
First one, 3049.
New number. I must have notified the university and completely forgot about it. How strange and untypical of me.
You know I'm looking for the key, please.
Oh, yes, of course, of course.
Sidney, my heart can't take this.
Can't take what, dear? Me finding the key. I do believe that the two of you thought I was going to grab that mace up there and do a Dr. Manheim. Is that why you've withdrawn so far off stage for the trip?
Well, you can't play a play like that and not have a mind that envisions possibilities.
Yes, that's true. I'm slightly paranoid myself. But what's your excuse on loyal and trusty wife? Yes, 11 years of marriage, Clifford, and she still thinks I am capable of a flesh and blood murder. There's a lesson for you there. Hey, here, come on, talk yourself. I mean, Death Trap is promising, but it's not that promising.
Well, I'm glad it isn't.
No, I thought the best mention to take was the name Marietta Klanowski. I congratulate you. That's beautiful.
Thanks.
I can just see the sweat on her forearms after the basketball game. But I thought Mrs. Beecham's eye shape was a bit much, though.
That's the convincing detail I thought you put us to try for.
Yeah.
Are you sure this is the right time?
Oh, ye gods. Houdini opened them in a milk can under 10 feet of water. Now you're trying to tell me that you can't. Red of the rug. 1 point for neatness. Well, your heart seems to have taken it.
Barely.
So we'll give it a rest on the Riviera after the opening. We'll get a housekeeper so you can take it easy and another car goddamn rolls.
We're going to go to prison.
A would-be writer walks away from his house-sitting job, the police won't even bother to yawn.
Reading his clothes and his tie-dyer?
Why not? I mean, who can tell about young people today? Especially would-be writers. He probably decided it wouldn't be if he wanted to preach ecology or join the Reverend Sun Myung Moon. Maybe his place was broken into and one of his sneaker on his stove. behind the garage. No, the vegetable patch, easier digging. Well, take a brandy or something. I'm going to be a winner again. And all our dear friends are going to see you living off of my money. Imagine their confusion. Well, it's a full moon, all right. I hope this isn't going to become a monthly practice. Would you mind helping me carry him? Well, it's been done, Myra. I don't see any point in my getting a hurry, huh? Come on. I got this feet. Well, hurry up. He's not going to bite you. Good. All right, now lift. Oh, thank God he wasn't the fat one. Make mine a double. I seem to have gotten a bit of a chill, along with aching arms and two devils putting pitchforks into what I believe is my lumbago. You know that murderer's child, I had Dr. Mannheim buried Teddy in 45 minutes. In the future, I'll know better. It seems that we're out a hearthrug, but I saw some nice ones down the Yield House the other day, and I think we could... I had a feeling you were about to deliver a speech. Would you mind waiting until I've poured my own brandy and sat down?
I have intended to. I've learned something in 11 years of melodrama.
Good girl. Oh. Gold.
I'd be very happy living on your money, but I don't relish the thought of living on his. I'm trying to understand how you could do it. Bearing in mind your disappointments and your embarrassment in our financial situation, but I can't. And how will you be able to feel like a winner when we'll both know it's his play? I can't understand that either. You're alien to me, Sidney, and it can't only be since 5 o'clock this afternoon. You must have always been very different from the person I thought you were. I don't think the police are going to be quite as unconcerned as you do, so I don't want anything to happen that will look this way.
How will they? He managed from Milford. This is Westport.
They'll check into his past associations. He must have gotten your address from the university, even if he did lie about the phone number.
If they do come by, I'll simply say that he wrote me a 20-minute letter past the 35. I answered it. Maybe I threw it away.
In a month or so, if we haven't been arrested, I want you to leave. We'll have a few arguments in people's living rooms. Oh, you can write them for it. Little tips about money or something. And then you move out. I wish you could take the vegetable patch with you. But since you can't, you'll buy it from me as soon as the money starts rolling in. Before the Rolls Royce and before the Royal Riviera. You'll buy the vegetable patch and the house and the whole 9.3 acres. We'll get fucked in your money at a fair price.
Darling, you've had a shocking and painful...
Get away from me.
You've had a shocking and painful experience. And so have I. I am terrified that I'll be caught. And absolutely different about having been insane enough to do it. I'm going to give half the money to the new dramatist league. I swear I will. But this is no time to talk about anything. In a few days, when we're both ourselves again, things will look much cheerier.
You are yourself right now, and so am I. In a few days, it will... Go ahead. He wrote me a twerpy letter, officer.
Must be Lottie and Ralph in the Yammer about the movie.
Probably held in Tendor.
Don't be silly. It's Lottie and Ralph, damn them. Now we have to let them in. Can you place them? Well, maybe you should go upstairs and I'll tell them you're a bit under the weather.
Oh, no, I'll stay right here and let you worry and I'll follow hot.
I'm coming. Who is it?
I am your neighbor from the house of McVeigh. Please, will you let me come in? It's most urgent I speak to you. I got the information that the lady you tell will forgive when I make the explaining now.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. 'Tis room I see with beams. And again, more like so. Oh, and the pain. Such pain. Pain.
Well, we're neither of us done the snuff today.
Aye! Oh, Justice, I see them. Oh, why do you keep such pain-covered things?
Well, they're antiques. Souvenirs from plays. You see, I'm a playwright.
Oh, you're Sidney Brewer. I know what Von Raymond tells me. We met together, look.
Yes. Oh, this is my wife, Myra.
How do you do?
Oh, but it gives you such pain, dear lady.
Oh, no, I'm fine, really.
Oh, no, something you see pains you. Paul tells you of me, yeah? I am Harriet Kendall. I am psychic.
Yes, he did. As a matter of fact, we were going
For
to ask...
hours now, I feel the pain from here. The more than pain. Since 8:30, they began the Merv Griffin show. I am on it next week. You will watch?
Make a note of that, Myra.
Thursday night. Peter Hurt also. What they want him for, I do not know. Then, I called the information, but the lady didn't tell me not your number. So I called Paul, but he is in place with the Red Walls room meeting with Johnsons. So I called back the information on the same. It's urgent. I must have number. I am Harriet Kendall. I am psychic. What does she say? Yes, number. So I cry, but all I get is 226 stitches, everybody.
Yes.
So I come here now, because pain is worse. And more than pain is
More than pain?
yeah, there is something else here. Something frightening. No, it isn't here.
What will?
The drink you would give me. Must keep on clouding the head. Never drink. Well, then it will become too much. Then I get drunk. Was used many times by beautiful dark-haired lady, but only pretending.
That's amazing. It's from my play, The Murder Game. And it was used every night by a beautiful dark-haired actress.
It'll be used again by another woman, not in play, but because of play. Because of play, another woman will use this knife. You should, what the lady says.
Yes, I think I will. As a matter of fact, in a month or so, I'm going to sell the whole collection. I'm tired of them anyway.
Oh, maybe too late. I do not enjoy to make unhappy people, but I must speak when I see something, yeah?
Well, I don't know. Actually, you could keep quiet.
Oh.
Well, I mean, well, you're supposed to be resting, aren't you? Outside of your own country?
Must speak. It's my God gives gift. It's danger here. Danger to you. And to you. Is death in this room? Something that invites death, that carries death. Death trap.
Ah, this is worthy your English, yeah? Death trap?
Oh, yes.
Yes. It's the title of a play I've been working on. I'm sure that's where you got it from. You see, there's a death in the play. That must be what you're responding to, because I've been working right there with death.
Oh, maybe, but feels like real death.
Well, I try to be convincing and act everything out as I write it.
Man in boots. Young man. Here in this room, he attacks you.
He attacks me.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Comes as a friend to help you, to work with you, but attacks. Oh, it's confusion here.
Yes, well, we'll certainly be on the lookout for a young man in boots. We're going to be Japanese from now on. shoes off at the door.
He sits in a chair right here, and he speaks of Diane.
There's a Diane in the play.
But the two other people, Smith and Corona, no. One person, small, black. Isn't play a black man named Smith Corona?
No, I never heard the name before.
It's very confusing, Hamish. Well, it's gone now. Nothing else comes.
Yes, that was a very impressive demonstration, wasn't it, dear? I mean, the way you came up with the name of the play and Diane, the dagger business, really awesome.
Remember what I tell you. Dagger, they'll be used again by another woman because of play. And the man in boots attacks you. Of these two things, I am certain. All else is confusing. Oh, pain is less now, yeah?
Oh, yes. There wasn't any real
Oh,
pain.
no.
Yes, that's a very marvelous gift. You know, I've always been skeptical about ESP, but you proved to me that it is genuine.
You're always genuine, but not always a happy gift to be over.
Have you always had it?
Oh, yeah, since I was a child. Never could I enjoy a game of hide and go seek. Was too easy, you understand? Oh, and the parents never wrapped Christmas presents. Oh, by missing the paper. Oh, and then I was teenagers, rocking with boys.
Won't you have that drink now? I'd like very much to talk with you.
Oh, no, thank you. I must get back to house. You will come and take dinner with me sometime, yeah?
Yes, of course.
I tell you my life story would make very good play. When you were a child, you lived in a large house with yellow shutters, yeah?
That's right, yes.
Always when moon is full, I am in top form. Good night.
Good night.
Be careful, my dear. And you also.
Oh, yes. No boots allowed. Good night.
Good night. Oh, remember now, Thursday night, the North Griffin show. You are there. Good night.
Good night. Well, that's the best she can do. We've got nothing to worry about.
You're not afraid of the danger she's got?
Not especially.
We're going to be arrested.
I don't see how. I mean, if the police do come by and they bring her into it, which is hardly likely, I mean, what difference does it make? She'll have them combing a tri-state area searching for a little black boy with two spools of ribbon, one here and one here.
She saw him sitting there. She heard him speaking.
She had the main point backwards. I mean, everything's going to be fine. You'll see. In the morning, I'm going to take that thing and boil it, or throw it in the garbage, and that'll be the end of it. In a few weeks, we'll all be behind us. Well, I couldn't help myself, Myra. I saw that play going out into the world tomorrow morning, and you sitting there so young, so lucky. And don't decide yet about kicking the old boy out. Please, I beg of you, don't entertain any thoughts about using the dagger. It's just a joke, and I don't want to images, I'm sure. Though if we do hire a housekeeper, I want her to have terrifically good references.
Sell the collection.
Probably I should. I will, but not right now. It would be too suspicious. It's amazing, isn't it? 18 years and Tanya's aura still permeates it.
Put it away somewhere.
Exit dagger into that.
Part of me was hoping you would do it. At the same time that I was terrified you would, part of me was hoping. I saw the money too, and your name.
You tried to stop it. You did the best you could. And it was my doing and my doing only. I mean, you helped me carry him because you were too stunned and too in the habit of helping me to refuse. Now, if anything should go wrong, there must never, ever be any confusion whatsoever on this point. nothing will go wrong. You'll see. In a few weeks, we'll be celebrating leading producer, Option's new Sidney Bruhl thriller. Successful playwrights admit envy. Well, let's lock up and turn in. Murder could be an aphrodisiac. Imagine what a shock that would be to the importers of ginseng root. To say nothing of the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare.
She's done. I'm positive. It worked.
How could it not? She's had minor ones that are much less. I've got news for you. Styrofoam hurts. You used it a hell of a lot harder than you did at the motel.
Added adrenaline to the actual performance. And you didn't make that strangling a jolly experience. And how about that Hilton Tendorf? I almost had a heart attack myself out there.
Same here.
It's spooky the way she saw I was going to attack.
Yes, but she was a little bit off base. She had you doing it with one of the weapons.
I must have been the Garrick to extent.
Yeah, very confusing image. He has some dirt at the side of your nose. But it's just as well that she came by. Now she'll be telling everyone that she felt the actual physical pain of the oncoming heart attack. You know, every little bit helps. I've been telling people for days that Myra's been under the weather. Not that any additional evidence is necessary, of course.
Well, we'll get back to things.
Well, there's no hurry. I'm not going to call the doctor yet. We don't want him working any miracles of resuscitation, do we?
What if Madame Tendorf comes back?
I don't see why she should. The pain has stopped, hasn't it?
Yes.
I hadn't thought about it. I don't move around so much or shedding dirt. I bet you were glad to hear my exit dagger line.
Was that for my benefit?
Yes, of course. I was going to suggest putting it away if she didn't. I thought the prediction might make you a little bit uneasy. I had visions of you herring off to the woods, leaving me with a live wife, imaginary corpse, and no surefire can't miss thriller to justify the one to the other.
I would never have done that.
Well, I just thought I would relieve you of any possible anxiety. What if I should burn these now? It would probably take too long.
Well, why burn them at all? They're just old manuscripts.
That's true. Well, we could cut them up and use the bags for scrap, but that's so chintzy. But I'll just tell them that I was cleaning out my files when the Grim Reaper
The
struck.
closer you stick to the truth, the better off you are.
Oh, you are a fond of phony wisdom, Clippy boy. Very well, that trap. Would that you were the genuine article.
You know, I think I should put my desk right about here.
No. I have a surprise.
Well, let me guess. I work in the maid's room.
How would I do that to you? You're going to be working here in this handsomely converted stable, as promised.
So then what's the surprise?
Oh, you'll see after the obsequies. Listen, I hope you don't mind Zenobia here. Carry away at full speed. I really am going to try something on ESP. You know, that was an awfully impressive demonstration she gave, even though she made some mistakes.
Well, I'm ready to go to work, too.
Oh, the thing you mentioned at the seminar.
Well, I got a better idea. Last week when I was cleaning out my desk, I suddenly realized that there's a play right there in a typical urban welfare office.
A thriller?
No, the truth is I've begun to lose interest in thrillers. I want to do something more honest, more relevant.
Even though you said those words, I'm going to let you stay here. Why don't you get your things out of the car? I'm going to call the doctor now.
Okay.
Hello, is he there? This is Sidney Bruhl. I'm right at Hill Road. My wife has just had a heart attack. Oh, no, I don't think there's any need for that. Would you have him call me right away, please? Yes, it's 226-3049.
I left the weights for tomorrow and the typewriter.
Yes, Mr. Colonna.
he on his way?
No, answering service.
Wouldn't you know it?
Yes.
Well, I'll see you later. How long do you think this is going to take?
A couple of hours at least. I may have to go with her. I don't know.
Well, ciao.
Yeah. Oh, good. The floor up there creaks badly, so why don't you do a quick wash-up, get into bed and stay there.
I'll buy that.
Hello. Oh, yes. A bad one. Oh, I gave her mouth-to-mouth resuscitation for 10 or 15 minutes, but it was no use just now. But she had come under the weather. I wanted to call you, but she wouldn't let me. She said it was just indigestion.
First week was pretty bad and cried every night. I could hear him playing, and he was drinking heavily.
Oh, of course it is.
Yes, but he'll pull through. His work is a great solace.
Yeah, I should think it would be. I've always envied writers on that account. You know, I tried to write a play once myself.
Oh.
Yeah, it's about the Supreme Court Justice I most admired. But even the title turned out to be a problem. What can you do with Franklin?
Funny enough.
That's too much. I'm only going to the Gibsons. I'm going to get some salad things and milk.
All right, get some yogurt too. Anything but prune.
Okay. You're not in the drive area.
No, I pulled over on the side.
Well, we'll see you later. A nice meeting you, whichever it turns out to be.
I'm sure we'll be seeing each other again. Wasn't young fellow. Good looking too.
Yes. You think he's gay? Homosexual.
Sidney, I know what gay is. Elizabeth told me long ago. No, he didn't strike me that way at all.
Well, I have a sneaking suspicion he might be, but, well, really, as long as he does his job, it's none of my business, is it?
Well, in essence, he's a domestic employee. And in these circumstances, his sexual preference could be a legitimate matter of concern.
I wasn't asking for a legal opinion. I was merely saying it's none of my business.
In that case, no, it isn't.
And besides, people would talk if I brought in a female secretary, wouldn't they?
Yes, if she were under 80.
Yeah. So that's why I called Cliff.
Sidney, I'm glad to see you looking so well. Now, that's the main reason I've come. I was delegated by Elizabeth, and the Harveys and the Westons.
Oh, yeah.
Your young gentleman is discouraging all your callers, and we were afraid to find you in far worse shape than he's willing to let on. But obviously, that's not the case.
No. Well, I'm not socializing yet, but, well, I'm coming through, and, well, my work is a great solace to me.
What do you want to now?
Well, I'm trying something on ESP. Helga Tedrow is in the McBain cottage.
Yes, I heard that. Is it true what everyone says that... Oh, pardon me, do you mind talking about this?
No, not at all.
Is it true that she pointed to the exact spot on the floor that Myra was going to fall?
No, nothing like that at all. She came here and she said, there is pain here. There is pain in this lady's chest. And Myra said, it's only a slight pain. And then she said, yes, but with your history, you really should see your doctor. Which is what I have been telling Myra for days.
It's uncanny the way people can sense those things. I should think you'd write a very fine thriller on this subject.
Yes, but it's coming along.
Well, business time. Oh dear. The first item on the agenda is your will. Now that Myra's gone, you really should look it over. As it stands now, if anything should happen, your cousins up in Vancouver will inherit everything. You want to leave it that way?
Well, I don't know. I'll have to think about it.
Well, do, and don't put it off. Now, this is the second item. The figures are only approximate because we don't have a final appraisal on the real estate. But roughly speaking, this is what you can anticipate, give or take a few $1,000s.
I didn't know there was this much.
Oh, that Myra was keeping secrets. She knew, and her records were in apple pie order.
Well, how much of this is the government going to grab?
Well, not all that much, actually. The first $250,000 of that is exempt from federal tax, and the state tax, which starts at $50,000, is only a few percent. And by the way, I spoke to Maury Escher last night at the planning board meeting. He said you approached him about selling off a few of your acres.
Well, I'm not sure that I will now.
Well, the truth is you can't, at least not right away. You'll have to wait until the will clears probate.
Well, I know that. I'm just merely asking him how much he thought I could get.
Oh, then he was jumping the gun, not you. I just wanted to make certain you're clear on that point. End of business, and you got off cheap.
Oh, yes. I got really lucky this time.
Now, what's the procedure? You dictate and he types?
No, I do all of my own typing, and, well, I'll have him retype the finished product, of course, and, well, then he does the letters.
Is that what he was working on before, letters?
No, a play of his own.
Oh, yes, of course, the seminar.
Yes, started it yesterday. We'll probably finish it tomorrow.
Well, I hope he's not stealing your ESP idea. Have you talked it over with him?
What makes you say that?
He locked whatever it was he was working on in that desk drawer, rather unobtrusively, but I managed to notice. Or on the other hand, maybe he's afraid you'll steal his idea.
Life in a welfare office, hardly. I mean, dreams and frustrations of a half dozen people you'd just as soon not spend an evening with.
He's worked in a welfare office?
Yes, that's what he was doing.
Well, then it might just be force of habit. You know, people in large offices often do lock their desks.
Unobtrusively. I mean, just the reverse, I would think. Hey, everybody, look, I'm wiping my desk.
It might just be his way of doing things. Look, Sidney, I didn't mean to upset you. You know me, the suspicious legal mind. He's probably exactly what he appears to be. An eager, helpful young man, and completely trustworthy.
Yes, probably.
Yeah, well, listen, I've got to run if I'm going to make New Haven by noon. Trustees luncheon at Old Eli.
Oh, yeah.
Poor little lambs and all that.
Well, that sounds like fun. Well, I see you brought your good hat today.
Yeah, take my...
You've never missed a cane like your life.
Has the check up from the insurance
No, it hasn't.
I'll write him a letter first thing in the morning.
I'd appreciate that.
Now, how soon can you come and have dinner with us?
Well, I think in a week or two I'll be able to face the world again.
Good enough. Take care.
Yes, you too. Give my love to Elizabeth.
I will.
Have to go. Goddamn old world craftsman. Oh my God. Oh, Jesus Christ. Ah! Oh, damn. Oh, pieces. Well, that was quick.
Calling you to Gibson's.
Now, here, let me put that away for you.
Well, it's all right. I don't want it.
No, you shop, I'll put away. Get back to the welfare office.
God forbid. The changes in the mold. The avocado's supposed to be organic.
Oh, Clifford, could you give me a hand out here?
Well, where are you?
Well, where are you? Oh, there you are. I thought you didn't hear me. I went around the other way. I had need of your Olympic fingers.
Beer now?
Well, I had that sudden mad craving, as they say in the commercials, you know.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, I'm sorry. I shook it up a little bit.
Well, you can use an Oprah on these, you know.
Oh, really?
Well, doesn't it say so?
What do they expect to read that? Cockroaches? lost your interest in thrillers, eh? No taste for the intricate plotting with lit, superficial characters? Want to do something real and meaningful, socially relevant?
Hey, cut it out, will you? Your idea will start coming.
Oh, yes, possibly.
No, just relax and don't bug me. It'll come.
Death Trap, the thriller in 2 acts. Characters, Julian Crane, Doris Crane, Willard Peterson, and Inga Van Brock. The action takes place in Julian Crane's home in Westport, Connecticut.
You have a hell of a nerve going in that door and taking that.
Julian Crane's study is a handsomely converted stable grafted onto an authentic colonial house. Upstage left, French doors opening onto a shrubbery flanked patio. Upstage center, a foyer, leading to the front door, the living room, the kitchen, and the stairway to the 2nd floor. Ah, yes, a wood-burning stove, practical to the extent that paper can be burned. Oh, the room's furnishings are tastefully chosen antiques, a few chairs, occasional pieces, and downstage right, a bar with liquor decanters. The main focus of the set is Julian's desk. You remember Julian's desk, don't you? That's where he worked before he invited crazy Willard Peterson into his home. Oh, patterned draperies hang at the French doors. And the room is decorated with framed theatrical posters, a collection of handcuffs, guns, maces, broadswords, battle axes, any number of which I am about to use at any moment.
That's it? You're not going to act out the 11 pages? Would you like me to explain?
What's to explain? Well, a lunatic with a death wish. Freud covered it through.
I have exactly the same wish you have, a success wish.
This is going to bring you success.
It hit me that night. Remember I put in the extra speech when you were looking for the key? This can be a terrific thriller.
Oh, yes, and with someone like me and someone like you cause someone like Martha to have a fatal heart attack.
Yes, at the end of Act 1.
Oh, yes, and what, pray tell, is your idea of success? Being gang-banged in the shower room at the state penitentiary?
I knew you would have reservations about it. That's why my first instinct was to say that it wasn't even a thriller. I have enjoyed putting you on, Sidney. I'm glad this is out the open.
You knew I would have reservations.
Well, you do, don't you?
The house madman is writing a play that's going to send us both up. I mean, I am standing here terrified, petrified, horrified, stupefied, crashing in my pants, and you all that having reservations. I'm not going to use one of those at you. I'm going to beat you to death with Roget's thesaurus.
There is no possible way for anyone to prove what did or did not cause Myra's heart attack. Look, I'd change things if I could, but I can't. It has to be a playwright. Who else can pretend to receive a finished work that could make tons of money?
A novelist, a composer. Oh, God, why am I
A
disgusted?
surefire smash hit Symphony, no. And would a novelist or a composer know where to get a garret that squirts blood? Or how to stage a convincing murder? And it has to be a playwright who writes thrillers. Because Arthur Miller probably has whole sample cases hanging on his wall. I suppose I can make it Wilton instead of Westport.
Why make it anywhere? Why make it?
It's there, Sidney.
No, that's mountains, not plays. Plays aren't there until some asshole writes them.
Stop and think for a minute, will you? Think about that night. Try to see it all from an audience's viewpoint. Everything we did to convince Myra to receive a real murder would have exactly the same effect on them. Weren't we getting a play? Didn't we write and rehearse it? Wasn't she our audience? Scene 1. Julian tells Doris about this terrific play that's coming to mail. He jokes about killing for it, and then he calls Willard and gets him to bring the original copy. The audience thinks the same thing Doris thinks. Julian might kill Willard. Scene 2. Everything that happened from the moment we came through that door, all the little ups and downs we put in it to make it ring true. They aren't expecting a phone call, but everything. It tightened up a little naturally. And then the scrambling, which scares the audience as much as it does Doris.
No wonder you didn't need an outline.
It's all up here, every bit of it. Scene 3, Inga Van Brock, a few laughs, right? It can't hurt. And then Julian and Doris get ready to go upstairs. And it looks as though the act is drawn to a kind of a so-so close. And pow, in comes Willard out of the grave, seeking vengeance. Shock. Surprise. Doris has her heart attack. Julian gets up from the fake beating, and the audience realizes that Julian and Willard are in cahoots, that there isn't any surefire thriller, and that Willard is moving in. The curtain is Julian burning the manuscripts or calling the doctor. I'm not sure which. Now be honest about it. Isn't that a surefire first act?
Yes, and what an intermission. 20 years to life.
There's no way that anyone can prove it really happened. How can they?
So you're going to say to the man in the times when he says you're Jennifer Anderson, aren't you? Maybe you work for Sidney Brule, and didn't you come there just about the time his wife had a heart attack?
No, oh my God. I know it's going to be a little sticky, but well, everybody's opening up about everything these some serious thought, Sidney. I honestly believe it can help the play, give it an added dimension of intriguing gossip.
Oh, yes, I'm sure you're right. I can just see the little box in New York Magazine now. A tons of wagging about the interesting similarities between events in the new play Death Trap and the private lives of its author, Clifford Anderson, and his employer, Sidney Brule, who committed suicide on opening night. When queried, Mr. Anderson said, no comment. I have a comment, Cliff. No. Definitely, absolutely no. I mean, I have a name and a reputation. Harry, perhaps, but it's still good for dinner invitations, house seats, and the conducting of summer seminars. I want to live out my life as the author of the murder game, not faggot who knocked off his wife. Oh, look, a wood-burning stove. Let's see if it's practical to the extent that paper can be.
Don't you dare! You burn that and I'll go out here and I'll write it somewhere else. I'll get a house-sitting job. Give it to me. Give it, Sidney. I helped you kill with a chance to become what I want to be, and you are not going to take it away from me. I had hoped that when I showed you the finished draft, you'd be impressed enough to get over your anal stereotypes and pitch in. I guess we can forget about that.
You mean a collaboration?
Well, it's mostly your idea, isn't it? I'm not pretending this is all my baby. And I know that scene one is coming out a little heavy and stilted. I had hoped we could be a team, Brule and Anderson.
Yes, Rogers and Heartless.
Well, you see, I could never come up with something like that.
I'm sorry, I really don't feel like collaborating on my public humiliation.
Next season's it. Don't say I didn't ask. I think maybe I better move out anyway.
Why?
When Helga Tendorf said a woman would use the dagger because of the play, maybe she wasn't that far off.
Really? Don't be silly. I love you. I don't think of harming you. Besides, it would probably break my neck.
Goddamn right I would.
So let's not talk about leaving.
I don't know. I'm not going to feel comfortable with you being unhappy about this.
Well, I'll whistle a lot. I don't know. Maybe I am being old-fashioned and uptight about all this.
You are these days. Geez, who cares about anything?
Well, I certainly couldn't lose half the royalties to put a solid kick.
And I think there's a movie in this, too.
Yes, possibly. Oh, by the way, Porter just dropped off the figures on Myra's estate. Far much less than I thought. $22,000. Half of which goes in taxes. Of course, there's the house and the land, but I can't sell any of the acreage until the will goes to approve with probate. You know, it could be 2 or 3 years, and there really isn't much insurance money.
Well, the offer's still open.
Yes, you know, I was thinking that first afternoon, the play and the mail thing would make a really good scene. First scene, yeah.
It's your idea. All I did was help with some of the details, and it's pretty neat the way you managed it.
Yes, well, I tried breaking into the damn thing's a fortress. Porter noticed you locking up. I thought you were doing something on ESP.
But he would have never noticed anything if I hadn't fumbled with the drawer for so long.
Oh, he's sharp. Dull, but sharp. I'll do it. What the hell? Let people talk. I'll blush all the way to the bank.
You mean it?
Brule and Anderson.
Great. We'll make it Wilton, not Westport.
I'll leave it Westport. The hell with it.
Jesus, just think. Me, Clifford Anderson, collaborating with a great Sidney Brule.
That's what Act 1.
Act 2 is going to be a problem.
Well, how so?
Well, we've got the murder in Act 1. 2 murders, in effect. Act 2 is liable to be a letdown.
Well, not necessarily.
We'll bring in a detective, of course, the fifth character. I was thinking of a Connecticut version, but one in dialect.
Inspector Hubbard.
Yeah, I think a Van Bronco to come in again. A good comic character like that, it would be foolish not to make the most of her.
Yes. Why don't you go on drafting Act 1 and let me think about Act 2.
Secretary, Clifford Anderson.
Oh, I didn't hear you get doors. I am psychic.
I know, Mr. Brule's told me about you. I understand you predicted his wife's death.
Oh, yes. Much pain right here. So very sad. Such a nice lady. I like Miss Brule. Ah. Is there, Mr. Brule?
Yes, he's fine. He just went out to dinner first. Well, he said he'd be back by 10. It's 1:15 now.
Oh, there'll be big storm tonight.
Well, I'll look at those candidates.
Oh, my God.
Oh, Mr. Brule, I'll help you get right here.
Oh, but hello there.
How are you? Good evening, Mr. Brule.
Did you get my note?
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Oh, yours was most kind, and the flowers.
By the way, there's a big storm coming up. Mrs. Heather wants to borrow some.
Yes, I think we do. I think I would get them over the refrigerator. Listen, if they're not there, try the shelf on the landing. It's a gray cardboard box. Oh, listen, I saw you on the Merv Griffin show the other night. It wasn't a very good night for you, was it? What? What is it?
It's man I warn you about. Man in boots who attacks you. Yeah.
Oh, my God. Oh, well, what with the turmoil of Myra's death, I'd completely forgotten about your warning.
Is he? Candles are not what I call. Have many candles. But tonight I feel near danger again. And in this room is feeling very strong. You should not have him here.
Do you know that I just decided tonight to dismiss him? I had discussed it with my lawyer. Now, I've been feeling very uneasy about him. I had my lawyer check on him.
Smith Corona. Is his?
Yeah, I guess.
But naturally Smith Corona, not Kelowna. No wonder I see on Black Man's face. Where to you we up? You should send the latest man tonight.
Oh, I'm going to give him his notes. And now that you've come to warn me about it, I'm not going to hesitate. But tell me one thing now. You're positive that you saw him attacking me.
Oh, yeah, it's like TV image is so sharp.
Oh, come in, Clifford.
Thank you, I do too.
You wanted that more?
No, poor enough.
Oh, it's really blowing up out there.
Oh, yeah, sometimes they are right in their predictions. Stay.
No, there's no need. I hope you beat the rain.
Oh, yeah, I go to woods. It's the mark. Yeah, good night.
Good night. It's pitch black out there. I hope you'll be able to find your way.
Oh, yeah, I have porch.
What's wrong?
My daughter is pregnant! For so many years they tried, but so many doctors they go to, but now they make me a grandmother. I must call her to tell them.
Those are the man in boots who attacked you?
Yes.
Now, she noticed them just before you came in. Did you tell her I used a styrofoam log and not one of the weapons?
I didn't think that was advisable. I told you were giving me karate lessons and we were attacking each other all over the place. The closer you stick to the truth, the better off you are.
I finished Act 1.
Oh, did you? Well, your evening was better spent than mine, then.
I finished with Julie on the phone.
Oh, really? Well, I better take a look at it. Let's see. How can I go on with Albert?
He wants the doctor to think he's upset, doesn't he?
Yes. Well, your dialogue may be a little bit tin-pan alley, but your timing couldn't be better. I've got Act 2 ready to go.
Terrific!
At least I think I do. Now, there's a couple pieces of business. I'm not sure that they'll work, but we'll try them. And if they do, I'll give you the whole thing, scene by scene. It's full of surprises.
Well, I can't wait to hear it.
Good. Oh, listen, why don't you go upstairs and check the windows? I think we're getting Hurricanes Alice through Zelda.
Oh, how many scenes are there?
Oh, there are 3, same as Act 1. I like that sort of symmetry.
All the windows are closed.
Oh, fine, fine.
What are the bits of business?
Well, they're both in the final scene. Back to back, as it were. Now, Willard Bristol Beans, our Connecticut version of Inspector Hubbard, has come to near Julian and his death. Now, Julian, quite reserved, shoots the inspector in the left arm. But there's only one bullet in the gun, so now he's trying to take his way upstage, get another weapon, finish off the job. Now, the question is, can an inspector, wounded in the left arm, in otherwise good physical condition, stop a middle-aged playwright from going where he wants? And the answer had better be no. So, you, Hubbard, me, Julian, stand over there, between the desk
sure.
I was afraid I'd tear your shirt.
Let me, boy. We are trying to become rich and famous. Let's not let a 5-year-old shirt stand in the way, all right?
Can't we just let the actors and directors work this thing out?
Professional playwrights don't work that way, dum-dum. Professional playwrights can have off the script until they are absolutely sure that everything is playable and doable. So now let's show them why the team of Brewer and Anderson is going to go down in theatrical history.
Okay.
Ready?
Ready. Look at your shirt, my Jesus! Oh, God, I scratched your neck.
But I'll survive. Now, listen, the second bit is much less strenuous and very creative.
I'm glad of that.
All right, now you're Julian, I'm up. All right? Now you've made your way up to the backstage wall. Grab a weapon, get a sword, yes, good. All right. Now, well, that doesn't look natural.
Well, it feels natural this way.
We'll try it differently.
It just doesn't feel like this.
So, all right, go back to the way you had it. All right, that's okay. All right, now bring it over here and lay it down on the rug.
You look like this?
Good, right, that's fine. Yes, perfect. All right, now, okay, that's good. All right, now stand up. Now stand perfectly still. We have devised to say, death trap is over. We are now into theater verite. The gun from gunpoint. No blanks as in the General Lyceum, though. Real bullets, compliments of Officers Remington. I noticed it last night while you were asleep. I really don't want that play to be written, even though there's nothing that can be proved. There's too much that can be talked about. And I am too old, and yes, uptight, to join the Washington secretaries, the ex-lovers of ex-presidents, the happy hookers, and the happily hooked in a national bad taste exposition. And I can honestly think of no other way of making sure that you won't set me up in a centrally located booth. Yes, I called to check on you down in Frankfurt. Found a few plots on your record. Exactly the ones that you told me about. And he feels, we discussed it this evening, that they tend to justify the uneasiness I've been feeling. So when I came home tonight, gave you your notice, you became abusive and violent. And likely, Madam Pendor's prediction came true. Regarding this, which I have the license and the right to use in self-defense. Feet sticking up the vegetable bed. I'm truly sorry. If we hadn't succumbed to Twitteritis malignus, which must be the most acute case I've ever heard. Who knows? Maybe we could have become a team of Brewer and Anderson. As it is, it would have to be just Brewer. Well, I'm out of dialogue. You'll go.
What can I say? I'm not going to beg.
Oh, I thought you might promise to become a steamfitter or something.
Would you believe me?
No.
So I'm hoping you'll take pity on a pretty face.
Oh, God. I shall miss you very much.
Goodbye, Sidney. I thought a click would be anticlimactic, so I bought some blanks this morning. I was getting the bullets from this one. Sit down, dum-dum. Sit down! Terapia. Reversal. You talked about the first day of the seminar, the important element of all drama. Put that down. The problem was I had this terrific first act, and I couldn't think of a second act. Very frustrating, particularly since I'm sharing bed and board with the old Matthew Potter himself, author of The Murder Game and Into the Kill, which I consider an even more elegant construction.
That makes two of us.
At this point in time, yes. Be my guest. That's what I mean.
What are you going to do?
Continue gloating. Through the arm of the chair. Don't play dumb. Through the arm. So there I am. With my problem. Sidney's not going to help me with it. Not voluntarily. This I know from square one. Sidney uses 3 kinds of deodorant and 4 kinds of mouthwash. Not for him to whip up scandals. But is there maybe a way that I can harness that 17-jewel brain and set it to work for me all unwittingly So I begin writing Act 1. And every time I leave the desk, I inconspicuously lock the drawer. So inconspicuously, in fact, that for a day and a half, Smart Sidney doesn't even notice. But old Porter comes in, thank God, and saves me the embarrassment of getting heavy-handed and reading a loose page lying around.
You're a shit, you know that?
Would you mind saying that into the microphone? So there we are. Brule and Anderson. I write, and Sidney thinks. I don't get much sleep. Last night, for instance, I barely got a wink with all that tippy-toeing that was going on. But I'll make up for it next week. Thank you for Act 2. No, Inspector Hubbard. Julian's lawyer is the fifth character. Scene 1. Julian finds out that Willard is writing the real death trap about Doris's murder with changed names, of course. He pretends he'll collaborate and then asks old Peter Pilgrim or something to check up on Willard, knowing full well there are false and unfair charges to be found. Scene 2. Oh, that's a great scene. Yes. It's wonderful, marvelous. Yes, you set me up for what will look like murder in self-defense by getting me to enact bits of business for the play. That's beautiful, Sidney. That whole thing we just did, it'll play like a dream, and I never would have thought of it. I'm really in your debt. Julian shoots Willard, who's basically an innocent kid that Julian let astray.
Bastard.
But the next moment, Inga Van Bronk and Peter Pilgrim come in. She's called because she's been getting bad vibes all night. They met at Doris's funeral. Willard lived just long enough to tell the truth about herself and Julian and about Doris's murder. And Julian shoots himself. Curtain.
No scene 3.
About what? They're both dead. The play is over.
Seems to be unsatisfied. Actually, that's what I'm thinking.
No, thank you. I'll manage to do all the balls myself. And I'm going to pack. And I'm going to call a taxi. And I'm going to take whatever money I can find. By the way, before I leave, when the cab is at the door, I'll give you the key. You'll tell people that you gave me my notice and I accepted with grace and charm. And if you say I stole anything, or you hassle me in any way, you will be opening up a very messy can of worms. How about that? A bit of Angel Street to keep you company. Maybe I'll find some rubies upstairs. See you in 9.
He came at me with a sword. Yes, that's right. Wait till you hear this next part. You might think I'm drunk, but I stone cold sober. I shot him with the medieval crossbow. It was the only thing I could get my hands on. But I assure you it isn't. You can come out and see. But you'd better bring some flashlights. Yes, it's Bruhl, B-R-U-H-L. See? Oh, yes, that's right. How nice of you to know. What? Oh, yes, his name was Clifford Anderson.
They killed Mrs. Brewer.
What? No, she died of a heart attack.
They make it to happen. Pain she feels is she sees Brewer kill boy.
Now, hold on just a minute. That boy...
Quiet! Brewer gives her plate to read. Good play. Boy comes and Brewer kills around neck tight. She helps carry boy out. Pain brings me. Now I am born. The boy comes from grave. Oh, come to the Lord. Oh, no, please. I cried to stop it. I... She dies.
My God. A fake murder to bring about a real one. Are you sure that's what happened?
Yeah.
I thought it was strange, the boy stepping in on such short notice.
Oh, boss, no. Play.
There wasn't?
But now boy writes it. All they have done. And Brewer discovers.
Yeah, I saw him locking the desk drawer.
He's afraid, Brewer. Play to bring shame.
Play about them killing Myra? I'll bet he was afraid.
Pretends to help. Tricks boy to take sword for play. And the shoots get gun? Yeah, but it's no bullets. Boy has tricked him to use to make more play. Chains him. Boy didn't go and chains fall apart.
The Houdini set?
Yeah. He kills boy with arrow on stairs.
Then drags him in and puts him by the sword?
Yeah. Burns play.
The ashes in the fireplace.
Call police.
And while they were talking,
Boy pulls arrow from chest on the attacks. Just as I saw 4 weeks ago. Oh.
my God, what a story. What a story. It's better than the murder game.
Ah, you are thinking it could be play, yeah?
Well, it certainly has the feel of one. All that happening in one room. 5 characters.
Death trap. Yeah.
Death Trap. Say, that's a catchy title. You know, I couldn't write Frankfurter, but I'll bet I could write Death Trap.
I see inside theater much applause. On the outside, long lines of ticket buyers, shivering and cold.
Oh, my goodness, that's encouraging.
But, that's my idea.
Your idea?
Yeah.
How can you say that? It was Sidney's idea. Sidney and the boy. They lived it.
But if I had tell you not know.
That's true. I deny that. And you've given me a title which I may or may not use.
We share money.
Are you serious? I'm going to go home and work. Nights and weekends for months. I may even give up my vacation. All you've done is come in here and touch the furniture for a few minutes. If I do, in fact...
If you do not share money, I get about telephone.
Telephone?
You speak through handkerchief.
In high voice.
Say dirty words to all your friends. A man like you employed a lawyer to buy from 2 daughters. No, 3 daughters. To make such telephonings.
You interfering busybody?
Be careful, knife is sharp, and Amsterdam police have taught me self-defense.
Big